Hi, I'm Camille Pattison, and I'm the Transit Administrator for the City of Nashua.
And I'm John Savage, the General Manager for First Transit at the City of Nashua.
Today we're going to be talking to you about our Phase 3 pilot service. This is the pilot service that we are currently doing to test out new bus routes that we developed. So our pilot program is a way for us to test out some new routes and schedules and get some input on them before we actually make long-term changes to the bus system. This has been rolled out in conjunction with our Phase 3 of return to service after COVID-19. So to give you a little bit of history about how we got here, in March 25th, we actually suspended our fixed route service, so you no longer saw the large buses driving around the city. But we were able to provide on-demand van service for essential trips throughout the entire city on our vans. And as the COVID-19 situation improved and we were able to put in safety measures throughout the system and on the buses, we were able to expand service. So on June 8th, we had our Phase 1 service. This is 4 routes that we rolled out covering Nashua's major corridors. It was basically our night service, plus 1 more route that covered the west part of the city. During this time, we still maintained the on-demand van service for all essential trips to doctor's appointments, grocery stores, and for people who needed to work at essential destinations for areas off of that fixed route. Then on July 20th, we started our Phase 2, and we really made the system more robust. We ended up having 8 daytime routes and 3 nighttime routes were brought back, and we increased the overall service hours. This really got us back to a good place where people could reliably utilize the transit system. And then on August 24th, we rolled out Phase 3. Now we're back to 10 daytime routes and 3 night routes, and we've actually implemented new on-demand night service. We'll talk about that a little bit more. So this is our pilot service. Our goal is to use the next couple of months to get community input on it, find out what's working well for people, find out where we still need to make some changes or tweaks, and then formally adopt these as our routes going forward. So we've had a lot of questions about safety measures. We have been doing updates on Facebook so people can see what we're doing to keep everyone safe. Obviously, keeping our staff and our passengers safe has been very important to us. So we have a number of safety measures we've been implementing. We are cleaning and disinfecting all vehicles and our facilities on a daily basis. You can see right here, we've been fogging the large buses every night. We've also installed hand sanitizer dispensers on all of our vehicles. And you can see on this slide here, a barrier that we have installed. So there are clear barriers now that provide an added layer of protection between passengers boarding the bus and drivers. Those took us a couple months to manufacture and install, but those are up, and that's keeping everything safe and secure. And we've also added signage to all of the seats, so we're doing that to help people socially distance. So there's enough spacing that people should be able to maintain approximately 6 feet on the vehicles. So we're doing the physical distancing. Also, when you're at our facilities or waiting for the bus, if you can be aware and try to maintain those 6 feet, that helps everyone stay safe. We are asking that you do not ride the bus system if you feel ill. If you have any symptoms that could be related to COVID-19, just please wait till the next day or when you're feeling better to ride. Our buses do have reduced capacity, so we are doing our best to encourage the social distancing. And we are asking everyone to wear a face mask to be consistent with the City of Nashua ordinance. So rider benefits, during this time, we've taken a comprehensive look at our system. We've looked at expanding some of our service areas, increasing frequency to popular stops such as the Nashua Mall, Hannaford's area, reducing the amount of transfers needed, and increasing our Saturday service and the on-demand night service. I'll turn this over to John, who can go into some specifics about the actual changes on each route that we've made, and then after that we'll talk about ways that you can provide input.
All right, thanks. So we have our pilot routes here listed. We have changed some of the timing, so if you see instead of things being on the 15 and the 45, we now run our service on the hour and the half hour during the day and the 45 at night. We're hoping that this makes it a little easier to navigate the system because it'll mean that people don't have to remember weird times of day. It also allows us to hopefully get some buses to destinations after someone finishes work or before they start work. The effort there was to make it so that you could spend less time using the bus to get to your destination. I want to go through each of the routes a little bit and talk about what changes have happened or if there's been no change. And so our first route obviously is the Route 1. We service the same service area as we always served on the Route 1. The only difference here is that we changed the time to being on the hour. Here we have a map of that Route 1, and you can see it's exactly the same as it's ever been. Moving forward, we have the Route 2, and this actually has new routing for the Route 2. We wanted to expand our service a little bit and change some of the ways that we do things, and so that meant that we had to make some reductions in length at other places. So the first area that you'll notice there's a change is when you leave downtown, you'll go to Manchester and Sargent Ave, so that's a pretty big savings for time. Leaving there, we continue as we have before out to the Market Basket Plaza, and then we serve the Exit 8 Park and Ride and the Cancer Center, in addition to serving Dartmouth, like the Route 2 has always done. After we leave those two locations, we then head out to Westside Plaza. And instead of going into Westside Plaza the way we've always gone in the past, we're actually going to service Northwest Boulevard, which will give us access to the medical clinic there, hopefully allowing people to get to their doctor's appointments. The thing to notice, again, just to go over it, is that Charlotte Ave and Charlotte Street are no longer served by the Route 2. The closest that you could get would be to proceed down to Amherst Street and pick up the bus there. The 2A, this is very different. We, in an effort to streamline service, we've combined the 2A with what had been previously the Walmart, the 10, or the 10A. The 2A now leaves downtown and proceeds straight up Amherst Street. It does not stop or go up Manchester Street at all, just straight up Amherst. It goes to Westside Plaza, leaves Westside Plaza and does not serve the Park and Ride or Dartmouth Hitchcock, right back onto Amherst Street, and then proceeds out Amherst Street all the way to Walmart, then comes back Amherst Street all the way back in, stopping at Westside Plaza and servicing the Marshalls and the Market Basket there on its way back inbound. A couple of really key things here is that now we have service to Walmart every hour, every day. That's a big change for us, and we're hoping that that will allow people to access Walmart either for jobs or for shopping, make it just easier to have a trip that goes out there without needing to worry about a weird schedule. Additionally, it means that people who ride to Walmart pay one fare. They don't have to pay transfers. The fare is the same as it would be for the rest of the city, so the $1.25 or 60 cents will get you all the way there, and the $1.25 or 60 cents will get you all the way back from your origin all the way to your destination. Here's the Route 3, which is a whole new route for us, completely new. The thought process for the Route 3 is to increase service to the areas of the Route 1 and the Route 7, which are some of our areas where we have the most passengers per bus mile. So the Route 3 leaves the transit center and heads out Main Street across the bridge before turning onto Canal. It proceeds up Canal Street all the way almost to the Hudson Bridges and transfers over on East Street. So that gives us buses in the letter streets, which we haven't had in a very long time, across the letter streets and heading over to Arlington, serving from Arlington on essentially the same area that the 7 serves. So proceeding on from Arlington to Burke and then into the Shaw's Plaza. This is actually going to increase our frequency over to the Shaw's Plaza to every half hour, so that folks who are shopping at Shaw's can get there quickly and then get back to the transit center quickly and connect to other buses. Leaving the Shaw's, like I just said, we proceed on to the transit center. This route runs opposite both the 1 and the 7, so it gives us a way to get around to those areas every half hour. All right, so the Route 5, the major change here was just that it now departs on the half hour. Another important thing to know is that the Route 5 does not run on Saturdays anymore. We've moved that service to the Lake Street area over to the Route 12. The Route 12 will serve that and some additional areas, so we felt that the Route 5 was not really necessary on the weekends. Route 6 has new routing now. Instead of going the exact opposite as the 6A, we'll use the route that had previously been the south at night. We're going to serve West Hollis Street and Riverside Street, which is a new change instead of the Route 8. We're going to serve the Nashua YMCA the way that the Route 8 would have, which is on call. So if you'd like to go to the YMCA, you can get on the Route 6 and let the driver know that you're headed to the Y, and they will bring you there in the mornings. That's only weekday mornings. When you're ready to come back from the Y, you would call the dispatcher and let them know, and they'll come to the bus will come to the Y and pick you up. We now service Northeastern Boulevard, which is not something we did previously with the 6, and we changed our routing through the parking lot so that we can also service the Barnes & Noble. A couple of other things to notice is that we now do not go outbound on Main Street. We go outbound out West Hollis Street instead. We take East Dunstable from Main Street to Lund Road, and we are no longer servicing Innovative Way or Terra Boulevard on the weekends. The Route 6A is the same service area as it always has been. It now runs on Saturdays as well. One of the effects of the changes in the routes has allowed us to save some time in other places, and that gave us the opportunity to run the 6A, which is a pretty popular route on the weekends, and we're hoping to see that makes lives for the passengers who need to get to the south end of the city better. Again, just like on the 6, we won't be servicing Innovative Way or Terra Boulevard on Saturdays. The Route 7 is the same as it has been. We now have service for the Route 7 on the half hour. As we talked about, the Route 3 now services some of those same areas, so your trips in around the core part of the city should be faster now. Route 9, this is a very complicated set of changes, so we'll go through this a little slower. It leaves the transit center on the half hour. It no longer uses Broad Street to get in and out of the city, instead using Ledge Street. That allowed us to add some service to Will Street areas and Gatewood Manor, an area where there are a lot of people who could use the bus. On the way out to the Hannaford and the Coliseum Ave stops, we now actually service them twice. So we'll service on the way outbound and then again on the way inbound. The goal here is to make it so that folks who need to shop at Hannaford or the Christmas tree shops or any of those stores have a way to shop there and then get back on a bus that goes straight downtown instead of getting on a bus that then goes around the city or vice versa, going all the way around and having almost the last thing that you do be the stop that you needed. We're trying to make it so that you get there relatively quickly on board the bus and then you get back relatively quickly on board the bus. A couple of other changes to notice is that we don't service Clock Tower the way that we have in the past. We're not going to go through Clock Tower anymore. Instead, there's a stop right around the corner from Clock Tower, kind of on the oval near the old courthouse, and that stop will be served by multiple buses. So we actually increase our service to the Clock Tower apartments, even though we don't service them directly through their own parking lot. Like I talked about before, we don't serve Amherst to Broad Street on the Route 9 anymore. We have other buses that serve those areas pretty well. The Route 12, another brand new route, similar to the Route 3. This route did not exist before Phase 2 of our service. We started this route and we called it the West initially because we were running 3 night service routes and 1 new route, this Route 12. The goal here was to provide service to the western part of the city of Nashua, to serve those areas that had been covered by the Route 5, the Route 4, the Route 8. Primarily, this is now the Routes 4 and 8, which is why we called it the 12, because 4 plus 8 equals 12, obviously. Some key things to note about this one is that it leaves on the hour instead of on the half hour, so it's half hour off from the Route 5. So if you're trying to access the areas of Lake Street and Norrell Manor, you can access them every half hour, either using the 5 or the 12. Then the Route 12 continues on and goes Harris Road out to Conant, the way that the Route 4 would have previously. Instead of serving all the way down to Captain's Corners, it will come back up across Conant Road to Main Dunstable, Northeastern Boulevard. We are going to serve Riverside Street, but not all the way to the transit garage. Inbound, we first go out to Jadon's. The Route 12 will be our bus to serve that end of West Hollis Street, so we'll go all the way out to Jadon's. And then coming back in, we will once again hit Gatewood Manor. This gives the folks at Gatewood a nice quick trip back down to the transit center along Ledge Street, and we will also be servicing Whipple Street and DHHS using the Route 12. It's a pretty complete redrawing of the routes 8 and 4 just laid over each other. The night service is now going to be at 45 past the hour, just like it has been in the past. That allowed us to get the buses to primary work locations after the hour. When we looked at having night service run on the half hour, that caused some challenges there, and we didn't like the way that laid down. This north route is the same as it has been in the past. It has the same hours as it always has. So this is pretty straight ahead. If you use the north route, you know what's going on. The one thing to notice is if you do use the north route to get to the park and ride, we no longer go up into the park and ride parking lot. We stop at the bottom of the hill. The central route has new routing similar to the Route 9. We've redirected this to avoid some of Amherst Street and Broad Street because we have decent service there. The central route will now serve Lake Street, which it hasn't before, and will serve Marketplace Plaza. Other things just to notice is that if you were on Amherst Street and you previously had some choices between the central and the north, now if you're trying to get back out onto Amherst Street, your only bus is the north. South route, again, pretty easy here. It's the same service areas as it always has been. There's not really any changes except how we come into the Royal Ridge Plaza. We'll be able to serve the Barnes & Noble there a little easier. And that gets us over to talking about our new on-demand night service.
A benefit of the on-demand night service, you can go anywhere within the city. It's a share ride, origin to destination night service. It is based on availability, and we do encourage reservations. It's first come, first serve. You can do same day or up to a week in advance. And you can call and tell us when and where you'd like to be picked up, and we will pick you up based on availability and bring you directly to your destination. This is a good option if you're trying to travel to areas of the city that are not well serviced by the north, south, or central routes in the evening. So it's available between 7 and 10 p.m., and the fare is $5 each way.
All right, so we've talked a little bit about the new routes, and now let's talk about, just to make perfectly clear, which routes have been retired. So the Route 4 was retired. It's been replaced with the Route 12. So we continue to service most all of the areas that the Route 4 serviced before with the Route 12, and as before with the Route 5. The Route 8 has also been retired. That route is serviced in its entirety really by the Routes 12 and the Routes 9. The Routes 10 and 10A, or the Walmart run, have been incorporated into the 2A. So where previously we had a couple of days of service to Walmart, we now have service to Walmart every hour, every day of the week.
So as part of this whole pilot effort, we're really seeking public feedback. So we want to hear from you. Do you like the service that we're running now and proposing that would, long-term become the fixed route service? Are there places that you cannot get to? What are the struggles you have? This is what we're looking for. So right now we're doing education outreach through exercises such as this. On September 15th at 3 p.m., we have a Transit Matters meeting. It is outside on the grass adjacent to West Hollis Street in City Hall. If you are watching this after that, our website does have the minutes available from that. We're also doing public hearings and some live question and answers. Future dates to be determined, so you can check out our website. We did one question and answer on Facebook so far, and we'll continue to do one or two more of those. We're also going to be providing paper surveys down at the Transit Center, and we'll also have an avenue for you to complete the survey via text on your phone or online on our website. You can also request a group presentation. So we've had some success doing this with Zoom. We've done a couple of these and people seem interested in them. It's a nice way to get some education and to get some input from folks in a safe way of doing that. Everyone can log on independently via Zoom or in a group setting. Or you can suggest an event. If there's something that you'd like us to come to, we're willing to check it out and get your feedback. So here's avenues to provide us with. There's the online forum. It's contactusforum@rideBigBlue.com. There we will have information on social media, both Facebook and Twitter. You can email us at ntsfeedback@nashuanh.gov, and you can also mail us directly to Comments to Nashua Transit System at 11 Riverside Street. And we're going to continue doing this for the next month or two until we feel like we have a decent amount of feedback and have sufficient outreach.
That's our new system. This is, as we said, a pilot program. We are really looking for your feedback. We're trying to come up with ways to improve efficiency and to make your trip easier, make it more convenient for you, make riding the bus less of a hassle. We hope that these routes are working for you, and if they're not, we encourage you to let us know. Additionally, if you have more questions, you can reach out to the dispatcher anytime during normal service. So it's a real big key for us is our dispatcher will be able to help you step by step. If you're confused, if you don't have your schedule with you, you can simply call 603-880-0100.
And all of our materials are also available in Spanish on the website. And if you need additional help, we can help you with that with the dispatch line.